Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We have some big news coming out of Roundhill. They are launching 5 new weekly pay ETFs next week. So in this video, we're going to cover what they are and give our new viewers a quick refresher on how to look at these ETFs if you want to add them to your portfolio. But before I get into the video, please smash that like button so the algorithm gods know that I'm here, and hit subscribe if you're new so you know whenever I go live where I talk about finance news, stocks, investing, or I publish a new video like the one you're watching. With that out of the way, guys, let's get into the video. All right, so first and foremost, shout out to Alex from the Discord community who alerted me to this. This is Roundhill Investments on x.com. They made a post. Next week, we're launching 5 additional weekly pay ETFs designed to pay weekly distributions while targeting amplified weekly returns linked to large cap stocks. This is awesome. I am so excited for this. All right, they're doing one for Amazon, Burke B, Hood, Meta, and Netflix. This will add to their current lineup of ones for Palantir, Coinbase, Tesla, nvda, and Apple. Now, the one thing I just want everyone to kind of look at is all of these companies, they don't really pay any type of a dividend, okay? None of them really pay a dividend that's worthwhile. So the exciting thing about these weekly pay ETFs, and we're going to get into it in just a moment, is that you can actually invest in, indirectly in these companies and make some type of dividend income. So I think that is, a match made in heaven. That is really exciting. And I think, personally, I like this combination, right? I can invest in companies that I really, really like and make dividend income. So let's take a look at what these weekly pay ETFs are. All right. So this is going to go for all the weekly pay ETFs. It doesn't matter if it's, one for Palantir, nvda, or Amazon, right? But all of these weekly pay ETFs, they pay weekly distributions to shareholders while targeting an enhanced returns corresponding to 120% of the underlier's weekly performance. All right, so this is a leveraged product. You have to keep this in mind. Leverage can work both ways. So let's say if Amazon stock moved up, 10%, then you would see a 12% return, right? But if it goes down 10%, then you would lose 12% of the value, right? So you have to keep that in mind, that leverage works both ways. You guys can see that this distribution is very, very high, all right, for Palantir. But this will fluctuate week to week, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But just keep in mind, these do pay out a distribution, but they aren't steady and they're not consistent, all right? They will fluctuate week to week. So even though you see 82% here, and for NVIDIA, it might be, somewhere closer to like 45%, these will fluctuate week to week, okay? So let's take a look about, why would you invest in these weekly pay ETFs? Of course, you're going to get the weekly distributions. This is the one thing we all like, right? They used to be paid quarterly, for the older, ETFs, the high yield dividend ETFs, they paid quarterly. Now it's monthly, and now it's even weekly, right? So this is really cool. I like getting paid weekly. It definitely helps out. We are also getting enhanced exposure, right? This is leverage that we're using. So you're getting that 120% of the weekly performance of the underlier. We also, the thing you have to keep in mind here is that these are not cover call ETFs. And that is why I really, really like these ETFs, because with cover call ETFs, you're going to get capped upside, but you'll get the full downside risk. Whereas with these weekly pays, you're getting uncapped upside because of the leverage exposure, but you're also getting, the same kind of downside risk, right? It's 120% in both directions. So just keep that in mind. I like the idea of making, higher than normal distribution income with uncapped upside. That is why I'm very fond of these Roundhill weekly pays. You have new products coming on the market that are doing cover calls with leverage, which is, kind of exciting. But I like these weekly pay ETFs because, I've been investing in Palantir and NVIDIA, and they have been doing exceptionally well following the underlier while also paying out a very good distribution. So, again, I'm just a very happy customer. They've been really good stewards of my money. So anyways, moving on, let's talk more about, these weekly pay ETFs. All right. So remember what I said about the distributions, right? they will fluctuate week to week. And you guys can see it here in their distribution history. 67 cents 1 week, 45 cents, 68 cents, 40. You have 49 cents, 46 cents, 23 cents, 34 cents, right? It fluctuates week to week. And you guys can see here in their 12-month history how it kind of just goes up and down. So why is that? Why is this weekly pay ETF not consistent, or paying out a stable distribution? Well, there was a video done by Passive Income Investing. So shout out to him. I recommend people check him out. He does a lot of good videos on high yield and cover call investing. But anyways, he was speaking with Dave Mazza, and Dave Mazza basically explained how you should use these ETFs in your portfolio, right? So the distributions are calculated based on the performance of the stock. If the stock has had a bad week, the weekly distribution would be less than that of a strong week. All right, we would expect the weekly pays to underperform a type of cover call strategy when the underlying stock performs poorly, given that these are 1.2x levered on the downside. These are meant to be bullish instruments. I cannot hammer this hard enough. They are meant to be bullish instruments. They do not sell away upside like a cover call strategy does, and therefore will outperform those strategies when the underlying asset performs well. So the big thing about this and how you should look at these weekly pay ETFs is if you're very bullish on the company, right? If you're very bullish, you understand these companies. Like I really, really like Palantir. I really, really like NVIDIA. I follow them almost religiously at this point. So I'm very excited about their future prospects. I can hold these ETFs for a very long time, even if we go through bumpy, periods where the stock might go down, because I'm very bullish on them, right? So while I'm holding these ETFs, I'll be able to collect some type of distribution income. I'll be able to collect really good distribution income if, the stock has a lot of momentum behind it. If something is pushing the share price higher, like, for NVIDIA, we had that whole Middle East tour, and that really, really sent, the shares flying. And, by extension, that sent NVDW up quite a bit. The same thing for Palantir securing all these new contracts. It sent the stock up quite a bit, which meant that PLTW was going up quite a bit. So that is how you should look at these ETFs. There has to be bullish momentum behind them. Now, if you want to incorporate some type of dividend capture play or dividend capture strategy, where you just invest in it and hold it for the dividend and then get out, you can absolutely do that. You can do it, right? Maybe it's heading into earnings and you already know, let's say, Coinbase is going to have really good earnings. Well, you can invest on a Monday and be out by a Friday, right? Or invest, a week before, ride it all the way up to the top, capture that dividend, and then get out, right? So you can use these ETF products in a number of ways, which is really, really exciting because, instead of just a typical buy and hold, and kind of just wait for it to appreciate and then collect dividends, well, you can, swing trade these things, which is really cool. All right. So again, you have ones for Amazon, one for Berkshire Hathaway. All right. Everybody knows who Berkshire Hathaway is, Warren Buffett's, baby. That's Warren Buffett's baby right there. He recently retired and he left his protege in charge. So we'll see how Berkshire does. Of course, you guys know who Amazon is. Largest retail e-commerce company in the world. And they also have a huge data center segment where they're, developing a lot of artificial intelligence. They have AWS, and actually they just pulled the pin on plans to build a data center in Pennsylvania. I think they're spending like $20 billion. So that's really exciting. You have Robinhood. Everybody knows who Robinhood is. All right. Let's not even front. You guys know who Robinhood is. The biggest brokerage, the most popular brokerage with a lot of the younger crowd. They actually are now branching out into the crypto sector. They actually just purchased Bitstamp for $200 million, and Bitstamp had 50 global crypto licenses. So this is going to give Hood a huge edge, to basically offer services, basically crypto as a service. So really a lot of exciting things happening for Robinhood. You have Meta, all right, Facebook. You guys know who Facebook is. They have a huge ad revenue coming from their Facebook ads side of the business, and they just invested a couple $1 billion into Scale AI. All right. So again, you have a lot of these companies sinking a lot of money into artificial intelligence. And then of course, who doesn't know Netflix, right? Everybody knows Netflix, the largest streaming platform by far in the world. And again, their share price definitely reflects that. So you guys can check these out. So that'll pretty much do it for this video, guys. Again, I'm really excited about these new ones that are going to be added to this current lineup of Roundhill weekly pays. You know, are you bullish on any of these stocks? You know, would you look at Netflix? Would you look at Meta? Maybe Robinhood? I know there's some interest in Berkshire B or Berk B because of, you know, the OMA ETF that just came out not too long ago, ticker OMAH from Vista Shares. But I think, you know, I think this one might give them a run for their money. You know, only time will tell, of course. And then, of course, Amazon, right? One of the Magnificent Seven, definitely a very, very stable company. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys got a lot of value. Hope you're excited about these new ones that are coming out. I will see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to hit that like button, all right, if you enjoyed the video, and take care. Have a great rest of your day.